Have a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is to adopt tonight's agenda. I don't think there are any additions or changes.
I'll move to adopt tonight's agenda.
Been moved and seconded that we adopt tonight's agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. No guest presentation?
Yeah, we do actually.
We do?
Sort of, it's on the TV.
Oh, it's on the TV.
Yeah,
Okay.
Our Tiger update crew was gonna be here, but then they are at football practice.
Okay.
So they did a quick thing, in lieu of being here.
Hi, Kendrick High School board members. I'm Alex. And I'm Nathan. Today, we'll be talking about what goes on behind the scenes of the Tiger Update.
For every Tiger Update we do, I create the lunch menus in Canva off the Kendrick website and the events for the week sent to us by Mr. Portman.
I use Canva to make the weather presentation that goes up behind me while I do the weather.
Hi, I'm Ian. I work behind the scenes of the Tiger Update. We first record in OBS Studio, and I take these clips into Premiere Pro, allowing us to get them ready for YouTube.
While working on the Tiger Update, we have learned how to problem solve,
How to use great lighting,
how to use the green screen,
how to create scenes in OBS Studios.
and even how to use Canva.
Thanks for watching. We hope you have been enjoying the weekly Tiger Update.
And then this is the one from last week. So they've been doing this, and putting them out on Mondays is when they do it. Eventually, I think they're gonna work to be doing it daily, but right now it's once a week.
Welcome to this week's Tiger Update with Landon and Nate.
Welcome back to another amazing week here at the Kendrick High School. First, Nate's going to tell us what's for lunch. Off to you, Nate.
Thanks, Landon. Starting off with Monday, we're having a corn dog. Tuesday, we're having chicken fried steak and mashed potatoes. Wednesday, we're having pizza. Thursday, we're having a Hawaiian chicken wrap. And Friday, we're having a barbecue pork sandwich. Now, off to the weather with Maddox.
Thanks, Nate. Monday and Tuesday are going to be mid-40s. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are looking at lower 40s. Throughout the whole week, there's a chance of rain. Now to the weekly weather joke. I tried to catch some fog, but I missed. Now off to Xavier with the Student of the Month.
How's it going, KHS community? I'm Xavier Carpenter, your ASB president. And today, I'm interviewing November's Student of the Month, Madeline Fortune.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, it's an honor to have you on the Tiger Update. And actually, it's an honor to have you as the first segment of interviewing Student of the Month.
I'm truly honored.
So, for our first question, I have to ask, how does it feel to be awarded Student of the Month?
I feel like it's a really big kind of validation. It lets me know that all of the moves I'm making and the choices I'm making are correct
And on the right path?
and on my path.
Yeah, I was once Student of the Month. It was quite a while ago. I think it was in my junior high days. But I was awarded it for creativity, and to know that how creative I was really stood out among everybody else. It really made me feel like I was doing things right. So I can feel what you're saying. For your next question, I have to know, what did you do that made you feel like you were being a good person?
Yeah, so last year I stepped up to be head of prom committee, and so I planned almost our entire prom. And then this year I am senior class representative, and so all the planning that goes into graduation and class hoodies, I do a lot of it, and I feel like a lot of my peers have realized how much I'm working.
I have definitely noticed. Me being part of your class, I can't say enough how thankful we are to have you, because you've done so much for us. I don't know if anybody else in our class could have done all the work that you've done to help our class with budgeting, the hoodies, all the planning, fundraising. Yeah, I don't know. Like most of our class, like we want to do this stuff, we just don't know how to do it.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you.
You're welcome. For our final question, my final question. So every student of the month gets put in a drawing for a $50 Visa gift card.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to win this drawing, what would you do with this gift card?
You know, it'll be towards the end of my senior year. So I'll be moving into a dorm. Else I'll use that money to decorate my dorm room or just anything I need for college.
I could see how spending that $50 on the dorm room would be a smart decision.
Yeah.
I would definitely, if I were you, I'd think about getting like a hot plate or something. Yeah, so you can cook your own food in the dorm.
Yeah, for sure. You know, put it on the mini fridge.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of having to order out or go out.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have left. Thanks for coming on this segment of the Tiger Update. Now back to Lyndon.
Thanks, Xavier. Now on the events for this week.
Starting off with Tuesday, there's a junior high volleyball game, First Erie. B team will start at 5:30 and A team to 6:30. The bus will leave at 4:30.
Then on Friday, there's football playoffs. The team, time, and bus are to be announced.
Now we're going to have Hal and Mercedes talk about the dangers of fentanyl. Off to you guys.
Hi everyone, and I'm Mercedes. We anticipate to tell you about an assembly on the pages of fentanyl. The assembly will be on November 15th from 2:15 to 3:15. We'll have the Idaho Fentanyl Education Program at the school to tell us about the dangers, as well as how to keep you, your friends, and your family safe.
Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid that is found all over the United States. In 2022, the DEA seized more than 15.6 million fake pills laced with fentanyl.
Fentanyl has found its way into the U.S. from criminal drug networks to mass-produce fake pills to look as other prescription pills to deceive the American public.
This assembly is part of Idaho's ongoing efforts to stop the fentanyl outbreak and protect people like you from the dangers of fentanyl.
It's important that we all attend and pay close attention to the information being shared on fentanyl.
Thank you for being proactive and taking this issue seriously. Let's all work together to keep our community safe.
We look forward to seeing you all at the assembly. Together, we can make a difference.
All right, that's it for this week's Tiger Update. We'll see you all next week.
And that's it. Anyway, Mrs. Hadley's been doing, she's been doing a good job with those kids and getting them going. She's got her work cut out for her with that crew, so it's been good. Yeah.
Good.
Anyway, they were practice, so they couldn't be here, so there you go.
Okay, then we're to the consent agenda, which is the minutes of the October meeting, payment of the bills, and there's no classified or personnel action. Bills were in your packet, but were there any additions to what was in the packet?
No, and I just wanted your guys' opinion. Would you like the bills in advance so you could view them? And then it would also alleviate me having to print them every month because there's a lot of paper that just gets wasted. But if you like the physical copy of seeing the bills, I know it's hard sometimes on the screen to view everything too. I'm open to whatever you guys want to do. It's very easy for me to get them to Steve at the beginning of the month for him to just throw into the packet. But it's whatever you guys prefer.
I like them that, so we can see them beforehand.
Do you still want me to provide them?
Yeah, because
Okay.
sometimes it's hard to see all of them on there sometimes.
Okay, so I'll just do what I did tonight.
Yeah,
Okay.
just for the first couple, maybe we'll get smarter and make figured out.
Okay, sounds good. But no, there weren't any changes to the bills that you were provided, so.
Does anybody have any questions about anything that's What's HRA?
That's our health reimbursement account that we
Oh,
pay
okay.
to American Fidelity.
Okay.
The old top liner. Oh, that was for our back to school meeting for food service. We got lunch from there. Or was that the 400?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was for the Ready for Kindergarten class dinner that she did for us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was paid out of the Ready funds.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the ninth consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, informational reports, Kendall financial report.
In this report, you have the current balances for ICCU and LGIP. You'll see we received just over $900,000 for our school modernization facilities fund. I believe we received $128 in interest in that fund. Each month, I'm just going to go ahead and transfer the interest from Fund 4120 into Fund 1134, so that we can spend that interest however we see fit. That's what the state advised us to do if we had our money in the LGIP. Attached is a budget update as of October 31st. If you want to review that. And then I know later on in the agenda we have the lights for the baseball field that was presented last meeting, and so I just attached a couple fund options. If you want to consider those, or if there's some, excuse me, another place that you would like me to look into to fund the lights, I can do that as well. But Steve and I discussed it, and we thought those two funds, either of them, would be appropriate for the lights if you choose to go forward with that.
So was that 925,000, is that 80% of what we'll get?
Yeah, 80%. I'm not sure when we should expect the remainder of it. I believe it has to be this fiscal year, but I'm not 100% sure. And we do have AP HVAC scheduled to come next week, I believe, to do the first round of HVAC replacements for here, the district office, and that they're gonna do some fixing on the gym one as well. So that'll come from that round.
Any other questions? All right, let's move on to the technology director's report.
Okay. And for E-rate, we've received our reimbursement for the Category 2 project that we had for the summer, which was all of the switches and access points. It wasn't as much as we budgeted for, but this was due to our reimbursement rate only being 60% as opposed to the 70 we've had in the past. So hopefully this year our free and reduced numbers will look better, so we can go back to at least the 70% discount rate, which is what we've traditionally had. We've had a lot of help desk tickets have been entered since the beginning of the school year, and a vast majority of them are not a quick fix turnaround one, so it's been an interesting beginning of the year so far. We have modernized the help desk with a new system which will offer more flexibility of tracking tickets and having to be hosted to the outside. The other one that was really important this month was our IC report for the November upload. This one accounts for 90% of our funding for the year, so it has to be spot on. And we actually completed that about a week ahead of time, but we had to do quite a bit of work with our SPED department to make sure that we have all the kids put into that file for child count, so that way we have everybody accounted for. So we ended up squeaking it in on the last day, but so those reports are up and available, and that's where we're going to be pulling, like I say, a vast majority of our funding. Chromebooks repairs are running about normal for this time of year, and we are meeting our target for 48 months on the life of devices, some of them just barely. An issue that we have right now is the overlap of some of the older to newer devices. We'll definitely meet that target for the students in the elementary through about, we'll see if we can get them through 7th and 8th grade. So far it's been good. We have had to send some invoices home for repairs and or replacements this year, which is kind of early. Normally we don't get those until spring at least, but we've had a couple of ones that have come in that were, it was negligent, it was things that happened to them. And last one is that we added an additional service from the Cyberdome this year, which replaced a paid service that we had for a cost savings about $1,500 a year. So we're getting the exact same thing, but we're not paying the additional fee to go along with that. So that's what I pretty much got for this month for you. If you have any questions.
Any questions for Dan? Okay, principal's report.
All right, everybody has a copy. Our enrollment, we have 2 students that came in, first grade and second grade, so our enrollment is at 134. Our attendance this month, 96%. We've had great attendance. A couple of events that we've had a financial literacy workshop. U of I comes down and they work with the kids and they have a good time. They put together a budget and they spend money and learn all kinds of great financial 14th was the Ready workshop for kindergarten in our building. November 20th was tonight. We had baskets for turkeys. Had a great turnout there. It was fun. We have a science and a math coach I mentioned in the past. Our science coach meets with our teachers twice a month, and we're getting great feedback from our science coach, and they're doing a book study. And our math coach comes once a month, giving great feedback as well. On our safety, we had our vision screen, hearing screen from our school nurse. We're scheduled to have a fire drill, and then our data for our ice station is also there, and I combined both September and November on this one. You can kind of easily see comparison. Working hard to work with kids, and our Title I programs are working hard, so pleased with that. And that's all I have. If you have a question, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Any questions for Dave? All right. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, we're at 135 right now for student enrollment, which I believe is the same as we had last month, or close to it. Maybe we might have lost one student. Our students of the month in the category of leadership were Heingartner 94 times, as you saw. Disciplinary report, we had 14 referrals in October. Suspensions, we had 6, and we had 1 bus referral. Attendance has been pretty good, although we have a lot of sickness right now, but in the month of October, our high school was at 94.4 and our junior high was at 95.71. That's probably a couple percentage points higher than what we've had at least the last couple of years. So it's been pretty good so far. We'll see if we can keep it going. Athletics, winter sports has started, so we have participation numbers there. We have 16 participating in girls basketball. We have 19 participating in boys basketball. Our fall concert was held this month. Students did well. They played a lot of songs compared to concerts we've had for the last few years, so it was really nice to see. The Christmas concert's coming up on December 17th at 6, in case anyone would like to attend that. We have junior high, 14 junior high band participants. In high school, we have 6 in band and 12 in music appreciation, so those are our 3 music classes. As you saw during the Tiger update, we had a fentanyl awareness assembly. If you remember, that was one of the components for our strategic plan. That was something that people wanted to see, so we try to schedule, somewhere between 1 and 3 events like that per year, depending on what's available. And that was pretty good. There was a couple guys from the state police. They came. It was the right amount of time. It was about 1 hour, and it was engaging, so it was good, I thought. Anyway, that's a piece of Area 3 in our plan, safety and facilities. For the district, we wrapped up at both buildings the seclusion and restraint refresher training. Mrs. Blair and Mrs. Anderson recently put that on. There's a few components that have to be reviewed each year, and so they did a training a couple years ago that gives them a little bit more background knowledge in order to provide that training. Let's see, last thing, I included the support units where we are right now, what we budgeted for. Our current units right now are at 18.14. We budgeted for 18.56, so we are a little bit under what we budgeted for as far as units go. Last year at this time we were 18.58, so we lost a few students, students that we maybe didn't anticipate losing, so that's where we sit right now. And actual teachers were at 20.57. In my email, I think with the board packet, I think I mentioned it, but we have a meeting coming up on December 16th. If anyone would like to attend that, it's with our legislators. So we'd like to talk to them prior to the start of that and the session, and go through some of the things that are probably going to affect us. Right now, we had a superintendent meeting meeting today too, but, you know, kind of the main things right now in our conversations. The first one is special ed and just behaviors. Like the behaviors that we're seeing, especially at the elementary level, are just getting more severe by the minute. And special ed is another piece that is just a topic of conversation, because we just don't have the staffing and funding towards special education that is required to meet where we are right now. The number of special ed, I mean, I'm regularly hearing across districts that are in the 20 percentage points as far as number of kids in special ed, and I think we're at 21. So 20, we've never been that high. I mean, it used to be 10% was kind of the normal number, and maybe even a little bit high, and now 20% is what we're seeing in a lot of places. So one of the goals down the road is to try to get just a little, you know, more focused attention on kind of meeting where we are right now with special ed. The other one, of course, is you know, the vouchers. It looks like after the elections, like that's going to have the votes this year, and so I don't know how that'll play out, but that's the other, you know, big topic of conversation. Really, those two are kind of the main things. I think in the past it's been, you know, maybe 5, 6, 7 different things. Those are kind of the two that we're really talking about right now, going into this session. That's all I have. Any questions?
So, you're telling me that 21% of our students have an IEP?
Yeah.
Individual education plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a lot for the special ed teachers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a lot to develop a plan for each student.
Yeah. I mean, and consequently, what you're seeing is, and there was an article that came out, I don't know, a week ago maybe in Idaho News, as far as like the number of complaints that are being filed with the state is going up, the number of mediations is going up, the number of conflict resolutions is going up. All of those things are going up, and a lot of it is because, you know, maybe something that didn't happen is because the district just didn't have a person to do it. And so, it's a challenge right now. Anyway, it's a challenge right now. Anything you want to add to that, Bert?
It's just, yeah, we're just inundated with, I mean, when kids come in, it's really not that great.
So there's this lack of money that hurts us, you know, trying to contain and, you know, help, like I said, less, you know, a teacher for it, or we're not.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
so
have the teachers for
we're
that.
only, I mean, we're funded for a certain number of teachers. And so, you know, we try to stick pretty close to that. We're over it a little bit right now.
And we have a few one-on-one aides, which.
Yeah, and classified, I mean, classified we're way over. But, I mean, a lot of these kids require a lot of adult attention. And sometimes one-on-one aides. And that's in the IEP, so that's a legal document that we have to follow. And, I mean, you have to hire those people. So.
And do we have a space for that? I mean, where do these kids go? I mean,
Well, they're not
are they disruptive, or they just need extra help?
Yeah, some of them are disrupted, yeah, definitely.
Somebody that can't bring them here when you got other kids.
Yeah, that's the challenge. It's a challenge.
Do you need a space for them? Like,
No, they're in the classroom.
okay.
Yeah, and they have to be in the classroom. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a challenge, balancing that behavior piece, the special education piece. It's a challenge. Anyway, so I think that Superintendent Critchfield has started talking more about trying to, you know, focus a little bit more on special education and the needs there around the state. So I kind of do think there's probably going to be a little bit of traction over the next few years as far as addressing that a little bit. We will see. Other questions?
Okay. Ryan, do you have want to talk about the convention, maybe?
I can, yeah. I mean, Amy and I went down, I was sick the entire time, so it was kind of a miserable experience, but, it was good. Got to meet a bunch of people, went to some workshops you saw in the board packet. Amy went to the one also about, attendance, and I think that was probably enlightening or helpful for, probably more for your side than my side.
It's nice that we're already proactive and putting out the push for attendance. We also hear some horror stories from bigger districts
Oh, yeah.
where they're cutting
Yeah.
because their attendance was what one school said would be 81%.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was,
We're like, oh, thank God we're not at 81% for attendance.
yeah. I think that's the one that told because there was a big thing about whether you tell the parents or not, they give you a child $1. And I think that just that district just went out and said your kid's worth X amount of dollars, and that's how we improved their attendance rate, which was not recommended.
Which was not recommended.
By the session, but they were. So, the other ones were good. Lewiston was talking about the partnership one that I talked about in the board packet. That their big push was like, the athletic facilities and all of that was like working with the community there. Marcin's was, they built a new building down there, so they had an empty building, and they had opportunity to like put a food bank in, there's a police station now on campus down there, they have all these things, and we don't have an opportunity. And just engagement. Then we went to the policy setting, if you click the URL, you saw what happened. All but 2 passed this year. Spouse employment and local option sales failed. Those were controversial, and then early childhood ed was also a hot topic down there. Between the trustees, chattering away, but it passed. So, that's it. Unless you have any questions about it. Or maybe anything else to add. Because you went to some stuff I didn't go to.
I went to some why hiring, negotiations, and then I went to one that was actually for board members it was kind of their gab session. And so I just was kind of a fly on the wall listening to that to get into the mind of trustees. That was interesting. And then also, they have, instead of the business session that Ryan went to, I went to the clerk session. And that was helpful. I liked it. It's nice to always get together with the clerks. Did you like it, Ryan? Was it your first time?
Oh, it was a blast. If I wasn't sick, it'd be even better.
Yeah.
So.
And hopefully next year we can have really good attendance and it'll be in Coeur d'Alene. So.
Yeah. There wasn't too many districts from the area down there either. I didn't see.
No.
It was like Kaman, Lucid, Moscow, us, and
Deary. Yep. That's how Troy, business manager.
Can I add, if anybody wants to attend that December 16th meeting, just can you let me know maybe by the end of the week?
Where is that at?
Moscow School District office.
I was in that school.
Moscow School District, Melbourne.
Well, okay. I can do.
Okay, 9 o'clock.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ryan and Amy, for attending this conference. We're at the action items now. Action item A, consider purchase of baseball field lights and equipment. Any discussion? I guess you should discuss where you want to take the money out of.
What do we do with our federal forest dollars?
We do nothing with them. We get hardly anything. The most I've seen in the last 5 years is just over 8,000.
Yeah.
Just so sad. So that's why I kind of threw that out there. Just there's no rules or regulations with using those funds. So that's why I put that.
We bought a van before. We paid some on bus before. Driver's ed,
Yeah, we sent some people to some training before.
So, yeah.
It's been a while.
But that would probably be useful.
The most we've used that student activity fund for, we did a pretty large transfer to the high school last year. I believe it was 44,000. Because we were sending teams to state and hotels were expensive, and otherwise we don't touch that fund either. It's a fund in the past we've done transfers into each budget year. This year we chose not to, just because of the balance, and to kind of see the next few years where our sports kind of play out. We've also sent BPA to nationals out of that budget last year as well, so that's why it's there. That's also why I included it, because we tend to pay for those extra activities with it. So.
Where do you want to stay?
Oh, I honestly don't. I really don't care. I really don't care either way. I like to see that student activity balance there, just because I hope we continue sending teams to state, and I don't see the prices of hotels or busing coming down anytime soon. And the federal court, like I said, that money just kind of sits there and collects, but it's also kind of nice to have that roughly $90,000 to $100,000 sitting there in case we need it for something. So I honestly, I don't care either way.
How much are the lights?
It's just over 11,000. And actually it'll be just under. I did notice, I was looking through the packet today, they had sales tax of almost $500 on one of their invoices. Obviously we're tax exempt. So it'd be about 10,700 total.
I think the federal forest fund would be good use.
I will make a motion to pay for the lights out of the federal forest.
Been moved and seconded that we will purchase the baseball lights for the baseball field and pay balance out of the federal forest fund. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Accept the November 2024 supplemental levy results. All we have to do is accept them.
I said, what's an undervote?
What was that?
An undervote?
It's no vote.
No
I
vote.
believe.
It is
They just leave it blank.
They were like, they voted for president and then.
Oh, so would an overvote be they marked both bubbles then?
I would
Yeah.
assume so.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I had to Google that too the next day,
Okay.
I was like, what does that mean?
One, it was just one county also, so I was. No. No. You don't want to know what we did.
I didn't see Thorough, you did very good job knocking the door over.
Yeah, okay. I can tell you all 17 and who all those 18 were also. I know exactly who they are. Oh yeah. We all live within what, 2 miles of each other?
It's a small chunk.
I'll make a motion to accept the 2024 supplemental levy results.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded that we accept the November 2024 supplemental levy results. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Approve the purchase of the HVAC units. You have anything more to add to that, Steve? The one won't be put in because it got ordered, right?
Yeah, the big one for the gym, they don't actually start building it until it's ordered. So there's a date of March. So what the company said they would do is they would bring in like an HVAC unit to kind of support the one that's in there. And we're just looking for a spot to put it. We were thinking if we could somehow get it up on that landing over above the entrance to the weight room, that might be a spot kind of out of the way to do it, or just on the ground in the corner.
Yeah.
We're not sure. that they're gonna help us with that. And then over the winter, I think we'll be able to keep up with it. The other ones, they can get going on those soon. Are there any other questions about that?
Just, what account did you decide to take it out of? Take it out of the new
The
account?
Yeah.
modernization foundation.
I'll make a motion to approve purchase of the HVAC units.
Moved and seconded that we approve the purchase of the 3 HVAC units. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carried. And I think we're to the policy review, so I'll turn that over to Steve.
Yeah, so you may have seen in the news that the governor and Superintendent Critchfield put forth the Phone-Free Learning Act. So with that, what they're doing is they are asking districts to have certain items in a policy related to student-owned electronic devices, and if you do that, they will give you $5,000. We already had a policy, but this one updates it. It has all of the things. So we got this from the State Department. It has all of the things required in the policy to get that $5,000. There's nothing in it that's different from what we're doing. Although we do need to go through it and make some choices on language in the highlighted sections. And then once we have that adopted, there's an attestation that we sign saying we have it, and then they send the funds.
How has it been working?
I think it's been pretty good. When I go into classrooms and I go by classrooms, I'm not seeing phones being used. The pouches are, probably they're being used, but in some cases, kids are just leaving their phones in their locker instead. And I'm sure that there's probably phones on people, but they're just not bringing them out that I'm seeing. And when I talk with most teachers, it's been going pretty good. I wish we could get to a place where they're either in the pouch or in the locker only, and they're never on the person, because they're probably still feeling a notification. But that's I don't know. I'm not sure how to do that. That's difficult for a teacher to kind of recognize and manage. So I'm not sure the best way to do that. But I think it's been. When we look at this policy, 3265, the board adopts this policy to place controls on the use of student-owned electronic devices at school. There's been a rising concern that spending too much time on social media or using cell phones may be detrimental to students' physical and mental health. The board's priority is that all students are engaged in learning without distraction. And up until this year, this has been a huge issue. By placing limits on the permissible use of such electronic devices, the board intends to, and we need to select all that apply. I don't know if there's anything there that maybe wouldn't apply, but is there anything that I guess maybe we would want to add?
It seems to encompass, unless there's something you want to add.
No, I think this hits a. This policy shall apply to any electronic device not issued by the district that's capable of accessing the internet or sending an electronic message to another device, such as smartphones, other cell phones, tablets, laptops, e-readers, and smartwatches. Restrictions on time and location of use. Students are prohibited from using cell phones in the following times and places. And then we select any option that describes what we want our approach to be. On district property, at any district event, during class time, during passing periods, during lunch, at school activities outside of school hours, in bathrooms, locker rooms, or changing rooms. Right now, we prohibit kids from using them during class time. So it would be a shift if we picked anything else out, and we would have to, probably dive into that deeper over the next couple months. But right now, it's during class time.
So have you ever had an issue with somebody filming in the bathroom or locker room?
Oh yeah, it's happened. It hasn't happened this year, but it's happened. One of the things that I think that every teacher is good about is when kids go to the bathrooms during class now, they have to leave their phone. I see almost all teachers make sure that kids don't leave the phones. Locker rooms, that's different because they're going to PE and things like that. But occasionally those things have happened. It's been a while, it's probably been a year. But pictures, sure, that's happened. It's pretty rare.
Is there a reason that you would need to be using your phone in the bathroom or the locker room or the changing room?
No. And generally they're not. What they do is if they have a phone and they go to, say, practice or PE, the phone goes in their PE locker with the rest of their stuff. That's generally what happens.
So that's so you're basically, that's what you're doing now, basically. So
We're just not.
Students are prohibited from using cell
Oh,
phones.
yes. They are prohibited from using them there, yes. So right now, 3 and 7 are the two places where we prohibit it right now.
So the hardest one for you would be the locker rooms. Because of that's probably where they're gonna catch up all the.
Well, it's definitely, but it's still, even if like it's a hard one to always be on.
Right.
It's still good to have our stance be prohibited, I think.
I was just thinking if there's a different way where to put the phones as they go to the gym or to that classroom, because going to locker rooms, they're gonna have them. So like you can put your pops thing up, not about to do that either, I mean,
I mean, they can have them, they just can't use them.
right,
I mean, they take on the box.
right.
Is there anything you want us to add to this? Like, how you want us to policy evolve?
I would definitely like to add more, I just don't know, I think that we're not prepared for that. And I'm not sure how to even manage it. I would have to maybe talk to some schools about how they're managing some of these things that are maybe different. I'm not sure.
You don't want to end up as a cell phone Nazis.
You know, you got the taxis all over.
I mean, it's just gotta be set up in a way that's manageable for staff to do it. And it's not something that consumes their whole day. So I think that what we're doing right now is been an improvement.
Yes, we've seen an improvement, but we're definitely on the right track. So.
Yeah, I have.
Are they on like the passing periods? Are they on?
We don't police it during passing periods. I mean, not because of that, no.
Do you have trouble with
I was
this at
just
the
gonna ask
elementary?
the same thing.
We've had some sixth graders, but it's a no policy.
I'll take it. Parents like, get it. So it's a little easier for me.
So then include any parts that are applicable. Students are permitted to use cell phones in the following times and places. Right now, they're permitted before and after school, at school activities outside of school hours, during lunch, during passing periods, and that's it. 1 through 4 is all we're allowing right now. We're not allowing 5, 6, or anything else. Are we comfortable with that? Staying the same? Okay.
Adding or thinking about them like on a bus, or is that an opposite of thought?
I haven't thought about that, to be honest.
I think my kids would do the bus. Okay, right, you know what I mean? I just thought about that.
So then do we have bus drivers, please?
That would be a challenge. There's no way the bus driver can.
Yeah.
So we can discourage.
I mean, as long
Yeah.
as it doesn't become an issue.
Yeah.
And we have had, I feel like we've maybe had kids that have used phones on buses, maybe inappropriately or whatever, and they have to turn it in when they get on the bus at times. We've done that, I think. Okay, I'm going to skip down to the 3rd paragraph from where we just left off. If a student's parent or guardian or their designee needs to contact a student in the case of an emergency at the time when student cell phone use is not permitted, the parent or guardian or designee should call the school office and ask staff to relay the message or bring the student to the office to speak to the parent or guardian or designee by phone or in person.
Why do you have to slow it down?
Let's see here. Yeah, I know.
I think it's or other. It's either take what they wrote or you make up your own.
Okay. Are we okay with what they have there? Yeah. Okay, that's what we do. Containment of devices. When use of personal electronic devices is not permitted, such devices must be stored in 1, student's locker, cubby, student's bag, purse, or pocket, a location in the classroom designated by the teacher, a location in the school designated by the principal, a secure bag or other receptacle. So right now we're using 3. For the time being, are we okay with that one? Okay. On the last page, under disciplinary action, students violating the provisions of this policy are subject to disciplinary action, which may include losing the privilege of bringing the device onto school property, detention, and/or confiscation of the device until it's retrieved by the parent or guardian. If a student or a parent or guardian wishes to appeal such disciplinary action, they can do so by submitting a written request for appeal to the building principal within, I guess you don't have to deal with it probably. Okay, 10 days. 10 days. Okay, that's it. I'll bring this back next month.
Basically, that's going to work at Julietta 2.
What's that?
That's going to work at Julietta 2 for
Yeah.
you. Alright. Is there any board member input for future agenda items? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Move to adjourn. Moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.